Becky here with you, and today I just want to chat with you guys, and I want your opinion because I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, and I'll explain the reasoning behind it. I realize I'm reading and listening. Actually, I'm going to be doing both. I'm going to be listening to an audiobook at the same time as I'm actually reading it. And the book is called Stolen Focus by Harry, I believe. Anyway, it's part of my list on Goodreads if you're interested. And basically, it talks about the fact that we have trouble as a society, and even more so through it's accelerating. We have trouble keeping our focus, keeping our attention. And initially, what he thought it was more related to us watching a lot of like being on our phone all the time and checking our emails, checking our Instagram, checking our Facebook, checking whatever, and being in that moment. But right now I'm at a point and that's why I bought the book, because I really want to annotate it. He's also talking about the fact that we are being bombarded by a lot of information. But one point, and that's what gave me the idea of this video, is the fact that he was mentioning how he went to Graceland with, I believe it's his nephew, and he was saying how he had asked his nephew not to be on his phone, and that it was very difficult because the nephew was always on the phone, checking out all kinds of stuff. But then when they did the Graceland tour, you were wearing headphones and having an iPad in your hands to do the tour, and it wasn't it was guided through the headphones, so you would listen to it and be guided by that. And obviously on the iPad it would show you the space you were visiting and information on that. And they got to this room, which was a jungle room. It has a lot of fake plants and stuff like that. I've never been to Graceland, so if you've been, you probably know what I'm talking about. I have no idea. But anyway, the point was that while he was in that room checking it out, somebody was pointing to his wife how when you look at the iPad, you could swift to the right or swift to the left, and it would move the camera so that you would see a bigger part of the room, like a different part of the room. And he thought it was ridiculous because you were standing in that room, so why check it out through the iPad when you can just look up and check out the room and be present in the moment? And he made a mention to the people that were there, and they kind of thought that he was very strange. But it brought to my mind how we document stuff and we spend time documenting stuff, but at the same time when we're documenting, we're not living. And where is that balance of that? So that's why you've got these books here, because one of the books that I've started doing, and it lives, this series lives on Patreon because I'm sharing a lot of insights as to what it is, what I'm doing, and it's my family and stuff, and it's not stuff that I would want to have shared on YouTube at large, because there's pictures of family and my experience. But I made a vacation / dates journal, and I've started documenting the outings that I've been making with my husband and our camping trip and so on in this book. And I love the fact that I'm gonna have, memories and stuff and words and all kinds of stuff after. So and the thing is, if I don't document it, the pictures stay in my phone, stay in the camera, but they don't get put anywhere anymore. And even through an album, it's not the same flipping through pictures in an album, because you don't get the story anymore, and it just doesn't capture your interest the same way as I feel a book like this does, because then the kids will read back what they've written, and I know that they appreciate it. But how much time, what I found this camping trip is that usually I would document it as I go and spend some time documenting it, and then when the vacation was finished, then the book was complete. I didn't do this year, which is why it's also something that lives on Patreon, because I share with them the making of the pages, since I'm not spending the time documenting it, and so I feel like I need to spend time doing it, but I feel it's hard for me to take the time and actually do it. So by making of the using it to film, it kind of forces me at the same time to document it. So if that makes sense. And I know I'm going to appreciate having it, but is it worth spending the time doing it and not living at the same time? And then it gets to this part here. I had this journal, this book journal that has 100 in reading. It's a 100 book reading diary for bibliophile, and I bought this a little while ago. And obviously it's 100 books, so I figured I was going to spread this out and just document books and so on and do that, but it was going to be over multiple years. Well, this year I've discovered that I really am enjoying books again. While I had COVID back in February, I couldn't do anything, and the only thing that I had that could get some sort of interest and that I could actually do a little bit while laying in bed was reading. And so it got me back into reading, and then I registered to my library, and then oh boy, that just took off. That and the fact that I've discovered that I can borrow books from the library, audiobooks from the library, so it doesn't cost me, because I thought I debated on getting Audible, but I wasn't sure that I was really going to benefit from it and I was actually going to use it. So then I discovered that I could download Libby and borrow books from the library, so it doesn't cost me anything. And what's amazing is my phone has Bluetooth that connects to my car, so when I'm driving to go to work, I can listen to audiobooks, which I find is a lot more, I feel like I'm doing something a lot more worthwhile than listening to the radio. And so I've started doing that, and then so reading books through audiobooks and also listening to them while I'm doing editing videos, or when I can't watch anything but I want to be not bored out of my mind, I can listen to the audiobook and at the same time do something else. But I've also done a lot of reading through books, and because of the library I can borrow the books, and I do have a big TBR. I have a lot of books at home that I haven't read, but they're not the recent books. And so by borrowing them from the library, I get some of the most recent copies, and it doesn't cost me anything, because most of the time let's be honest, I don't reread books. If it's a spiritual book, or if it's like the Stolen Focus book where I'm going to annotate and take notes in it, and I might refer back to some sections of it, then yes, that's a book that's worth for me having. Or if it's a book that, for example, the Harry Potter, I have all the series, but the kids read it as well, or my husband will read it. Series like that, it might be worth it, but a lot of the times I don't reread. So what I've also started doing is going to my used bookstore and buying used copies when I can find them. And I've been watching a lot of booktubers on YouTube and getting recommendations, which just makes it so much more fun, because I get recommended, I will go and read books that are usually over 3 stars, and so therefore most of the time I'm very happy with my reading. I'm not reading stuff that I'm bored out of my mind, So it really kept it going. And because of that, this year so far I've got 128 books read. So you might ask, well, you know, like if you're listening to a lot of audiobooks, you might not consider it actual books. I used to think that way, but now I feel differently about listening to the audiobook. And yeah, and also I've listened to Stephen King, and he says that an audiobook is a book. So to me, if he says so, then that means it is so. So anyway, I've read 69 physical books, and I've listened to 59 books, and which makes out my 128 total book. So much further than I had put that I would read 18 books on Goodreads because as my challenge for the year, because usually that was about the number of books that I would average out. The year before I hadn't even taken the challenge, and the year before that I hadn't accomplished my challenge. I think I read 7 books. So it's been a while since I've gotten into reading that much, and I'm really loving it. But I want to document it because I know that I forget. Like I will read a book and I'll forget about it. And so I thought it'd be really fun to document my reading, and the fact that I'm having it in Goodreads makes it really awesome because I can refer back to it. But I don't always put my full thoughts into Goodreads because of the fact that, well, first of all, I don't want to put spoilers necessarily. I could hide it, but I just don't necessarily want to do that. And the other thing is, sometimes I haven't put, like, I've rated a book with a number of stars, but I haven't actually put down my thoughts on it, or I won't put all my thoughts on it. I will put some of it, but not as much. So I thought it'd be really fun to have this book, and since I thought at the time when I started using this that I would get close to the 100 mark, I didn't know that I was actually gonna go over. So thank God at the end there are some extra pages of other stuff, so I'll probably I will probably use like the book challenge part to actually continue what I've done. So basically I've written down the first 100 books, and then now I need to add extra pages, so it's probably going to be some pages like that I will just washi tape in. And then what I did is I went on Goodreads, and then I created myself a document on Excel, and I put in the picture of the book cover, and so now I have cut out a bunch of them. And basically what I do after, because I just find that it makes it more interesting to see what the cover looked like, and also reminds me of the book. And then what I do is I will put down the book and the information on it, and I put down the cover, and it's very fun. But brings me back to when I'm doing that, obviously I'm not reading. So what is the balance of documenting your life and keeping track of it so that you can refer back to it and actually living it? And I wanted to have your opinion on this because I just think it's interesting, and I've got a feeling that this is something I'm going to want to refer back to, but at the same time, will I? I don't know. So that's my question for you guys. Also, I would love to know if you would like to know what type of books I've read. I've been reading all sorts of different ones. If you are interested in checking out what I read, you can go and check out my Goodreads. It was under my name, Vicky Fortier, but then I've changed it so that it's, if you do Goodreads /Crafting Vicky, you should get to my profile, and then you can see the type of books I've read. It's all kinds of stuff. I've got some fantasy. I've got a lot more contemporary fiction than I used to. I've also recently gotten a lot of thrillers. I had not read thrillers for a while. I got into a kick at one point of reading James Patterson. I had a lot of reading of his books, but then that's it. I've gotten a lot more new authors that I didn't know. For example, Taylor Jenkins Reid's. I've been having a lot of fun reading her books. I've read the series of the Wayward Children. It's a kind of fantasy series, very short. I've also read a few graphic novels, which I thought were really fun to get into, and just for artistic purposes, seeing art. I love that. So yeah, I would love to know. I always love to get other people's opinion of books. The one thing though is I'm also trying to read some of the classics, because I had purchased way back when the 1,000 books that you need to read before you die, and a lot of them are classics. So I do own quite a fair amount of those, and I should make myself a goal of what type of reading I want to do, but I haven't done that. But right now, anyway, this year I've more than covered my grounds. I've made a lot of progress on books that on classics as well as on all kinds of other books. So that's a lot of fun. But yeah. So it's just a rambling video. I would just love to know, as I said, how do you document your life? What do you find is a good balance of documenting your life as well as living it, but at the same time having something. I used to take down notes like Obonichi. I haven't played in my Obonichi 5 years. I just haven't felt like writing in it. So I'm kind of a loss on that, and just need your opinion and your thoughts, I guess, and that's asking for help. So let me know what works for you, and then if this is something that you'd be interested in, and learning more of books, or types of books that I've read and I've enjoyed, or the type of booktubers that I listen to, or any sort of thing like that, I would love to do videos that are a little bit different and for you guys. So keep me posted, let me know, and I love you guys so much. Take care. Bye.